It's another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbing Minds. Welcome. My name is Ebuka Obiuchendo. Glad to have you here. Happy Easter, of course, to all Christians and, of course, all Nigerians watching right now, especially to Liverpool fans. I know you're very excited right now. It's looking like the league is within reach finally after, what, 18 or how many years? I don't know. I've lost count for you guys. But congratulations on your win today, hopefully. I'm not very excited that you're going to win it, though, but that's besides the point. Moving on now to the week that was. It's been probably, even by Nigerian standards, one of the toughest weeks in our history. So many things happened over the week, security-wise, or the lack of it. Woke up on Monday morning to the news about a bombing in Nyanya, which is in the outskirts of Abuja, followed by a lot of other incidents. There was a kidnapping of schoolgirls, which is still unresolved, and all of the drama and lies that came with it. But we're going to talk about that extensively much later on in the show. I just want to get through with the week that was now and talk about other things. But of course, we're going to have to focus in-depthly on security on the show today. Moving on now to some other things. The national conference, there's speculation that it might be extended. Some of the members are saying they need it extended so that they can meet up with a lot of the discussions they have on the table. It's quite interesting that I think it's about a month now since this conference was inaugurated, but a lot of Nigerians don't seem to know anything that's been achieved at all. They spent the first few days debating, or the first week or two actually debating on voting patterns. And they spent the weeks after that debating the president's address to them during the inauguration. So it's kind of like what has been done. Now I hear they've broken out to to committees to have several discussions, but I don't know what an extension is going to mean. Are they going to get paid for the extension? People are already angry that they're getting paid so much to be there. Who's going to pay for the extension if it is approved? And if the extension is not approved, does it mean nothing is going to be achieved before then? We're going to keep watching that space to see how things unfold. Of course, we can't talk about all of this without talking about politics that's been all over the place. We're still going to talk about that while we're talking security, of course. But it's really sad how politics has sort of come into the mix with all of these discussions about, Nigeria's future. A letter was written yesterday by one of the governors in the north that has sparked a lot of controversy. Blame games have been traded across board, and we still don't know how all of this is going to end. Everybody knows that unity is what we need at this point, but it doesn't seem like the politicians seem to agree. Moving on now to what might seem like some good news in some way. I mean, it looks like it's almost impossible to find anything happy in the Nigerian papers these days. The NFF president, Maigari, has said that he will give Stephen Keshi a free hand to run his affairs as the World Cup approaches. And football seems to be the only solace we have in Nigeria, especially in these trying times. And of course, a lot of people are excited waiting for the World Cup to start. And there were a lot of speculations as to whether a foreign technical advisor was going to be brought in either to replace or assist Stephen Keshi. But the president of the NFF has said that none of that is going to happen, that he's going to be giving a free rein, and I think he's going to be paid his salary in advance. So good news on that front at least. So it looks like Stephen Keshi has his job at least up until the end of the World Cup. But we're going to take a very quick break now. When we come back, we're going to be looking at security and all of the things that are beginning to look like things that are looking even worse than they were when we last talked about it here. Please do stay with us. Welcome back now. The state of the nation is pretty critical at this point, and I read a column today, the back page of This Day by Simon Kolawole, talking about some home truths that we need to tell ourselves, and a lot of the things he pointed out there were very poignant. We are basically at war as it is. We have treated a lot of these issues of terrorism with kids' gloves, and it looks like things are beginning to blow up in our faces, literally, and we don't seem to have anything to do about it. I have here with me a social commentator and a writer, Lanre Olagunju, and he's going to be talking with me, basically on all of the things that have happened, especially in the last week. Thank you very much for being here today.
I'm happy to be here.
Now, we have to start with Monday morning. A lot of us woke up on Monday, it was like a regular Monday that most people don't like to go to work anyways. But it became a whole other story. Early in the morning, people queuing up to get into buses in Abuja to go to work, and we end up with 75 dead and over 200 injured. Before that, we had heard the president say several times that the activities of Boko Haram have been contained to the northeast, and even not even necessarily the northeast, the borders of the country. So it looked like, okay, they were retreating and things were getting, a little better. How did we get back to this point again?
In the first place, Ebuka, the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, before now we see it as the inexclusive right of the northern brothers. it's only in the north. It started in Bono. It has left Bono. It's now in Adamawa, Sokoto, and we are still looking at it as it's a joke. Like you said, we are at war already, and we essentially need to see this issue from this perspective. It's, even now in Abuja, this is a reminder to us that no one is safe. In Abuja now, you cannot even, they say, avoid crowded places, and everybody is afraid. So essentially, we need to start seeing this as, it has gone beyond the northern problem, Even we in Lagos and other parts of the country should come together and see this as a national issue. Let's stop lying to ourselves and say it's a northern issue. It's a lie. The Monday morning attack is a reminder to everybody that, okay, we are back in Abuja, and if we can eat Abuja again, we can do it all over again. That's what they just told us.
I saw a map about places that the Boko Haram have hit. I think everywhere in the north, except I think Zamfara State, has been affected by one way or the other.
I think some places in Jigawa.
And some places in Jigawa as well, but all the way down to even Kogi State, which it's obvious. I mean, if you can hit Abuja over and over and over again, it's almost, you can pretty much say that everywhere is at risk at this point. So it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing wrong? What are we not doing?
In the first place, like one of my teachers will always say, a social problem essentially is as a result of the actions or inactions of people. We cannot deny the fact that the Nigerian government was sleeping at some point when it should be standing and facing its responsibilities. I served in Jigawa State, for instance. That was I was able to tell you that some part of the state, that state particularly, has not been affected really. I don't think they have scores of deaths as a result of the Boko Haram crisis. But the truth is that so many things are going wrong in such places. I see a 7-year-old child telling me good morning at 8 p.m. All he knows is that good morning is a form of greeting. These guys don't have any form of education really. They don't even, some never saw a tap. I've never seen a tap before. So the issue is that the problem of education, the problem of negligence, exactly. And if we don't face some problems today, if we fix our road, for instance, today, we have good roads, and everybody's happy for it. There's no traffic anymore. If we don't fix the problem of education today, for instance, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years,
it's going to tell.
It's going to tell. And if you check in Southwest over here, a couple of people have benefited from good education because of the structures that were put in place. I think at this point in time, we need to go back. Though it's sad already that things have gone so bad already. The bombs are going everywhere. Everyone is scared. And I even also think that our neighboring countries too should be scared, Ibuka. That's a very serious one. That's where I'm very, 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 because our borders are very, very porous. If you travel from Lagos to, let's say, to Kano, for instance, you keep just moving from one state to another, to another, to another, to another.
Yeah. Something I was talking about the article I read earlier, and it was something that Simon Kolawale also pointed out there today, that a lot of these things that are happening, it's obvious that these are people who are completely disconnected from the Nigerian sort of psyche. Like what happened in Nyanya, for example, it's almost plausible to think that it might not even be Nigerians who are doing these things.
Yeah, there are rumors like that.
We've talked about our borders for the last, I think, 3 years being porous. Why haven't we done anything about those borders? It's the truth. I mean, we've all said that this is a problem.
This question sounds like, okay, why are we not? But is there any area in the Nigerian government is taking its responsibility seriously? And that's the truth. We make promises. We shed crocodile tears. Then we are jubilating somewhere else and feel that after a couple of hours, the political will is not there really. And like you were introducing the drama about APC, it's this, it's that, we are not helping this issue. And it's sad that people are dying every day, and the number of deaths you count death numbers they're escalating every day, and still we are still playing politics. It shows that there's no will. And I want to think from the other side now. Let me imagine now, for instance, that I'm in a Boko Haram camp, and I see the political guys, accusing each other, and I'm like, okay, we're going to hit this place next. So the readiness is not there, the sincerity is not there, and until then, I just think we're just playing games.